Whether you're a longtime fan of The Bachelor like me or you've never seen the show like Amir, the season finale of this season's Bachelor, Arie Jr., got people talking. It was very controversial and a ratings behemoth for ABC. So let me just break down what happened and then I'll get your response, Amir, because it was a lot. Basically, in the finale, Arie has proposed to Becca K, and he says he chooses her now, but he also chooses her every day. Happily ever after? Not so much, because then we fast forward and we see that Arie goes and breaks off the engagement with Becca after the show has already begun airing because he would like to see if there's an opportunity to make things work with the runner-up, the girl that he broke up with, Lauren B, who is a very big crush of mine right now. I really like her. Anyway, what ends up happening is that ABC airs the entire unedited, and they really like to say that it was unedited, breakup of Becca and Arie, and it was really difficult to watch because it was unedited. So where sometimes breakup sequences, because we've seen a lot of them through all the seasons of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, it kind of condensed down to 3 minutes. It was, there was 3 hours of television and almost close to like a full 45 minutes of that was just the Arie and Becca breakup and then cutting back to Chris Harrison making some commentary. So then last night on the finale after the final rose, Becca faced Arie again and said that she forgave him. She was then crowned this coming season's Bachelorette. And then Arie proposed to Lauren, and they're now living happily ever after. So a lot of people have views about this. The main things that people are talking about, both from the Bachelor-verse, people that have been on the show and people that have just viewed the show, feel like it was wrong that the breakup was filmed. And the other thing they're talking about is Arie breaking off an engagement to just get re-engaged a couple months later. The timeline is really fuzzy on this, and I do think it's sort of important to iron out as best as we can with a new girl. So all that being said, as someone that doesn't watch the show, what were your thoughts on this? Because you saw that this was news even for people that didn't pay attention.
I couldn't avoid it.
You can't.
And like I saw people writing something about Arie and I was like, who is Arie? What is this? Look, what I don't get is why are people getting so worked up about this? It's all fake.
Well, it's contrived scenarios with real people.
Yeah, but like they knew that they needed to raise their ratings up, so the producers came in and they're like, we're gonna do this.
So the interesting thing about that is that the ratings definitely did go up. The finale ratings spiked over the show's shriveled season average, drawing an audience of 7.8 million viewers and a 2.2 among 18 to 49-year-olds, the demographic advertisers seek, as reported by BuzzFeed. It's still not as strong as Nick Viall's season, but they definitely saw a rating spike. So the conversation is basically, did Arie sort of meet with producers and decide to do this breakup on television? Because a lot of people were saying you could have broken up privately and then they could have aired some sort of a conversation with Arie and Becca after the fact saying, we broke up and now that we've all come down, let's like give you a play-by-play. Was it Arie that went to the producers to do this, or was it the producers that heard from Arie that he wanted to end things with Becca and then they were like, ooh, let's make sure we capture this? My friend pointed something out. Why have 2 hours of television when you can have 3 for advertisers? And I think that it really does come down to money. I don't think that it was necessarily Arie's decision, but I think somewhere along the line, the producers saw the dollar signs if they were to draw this out as long as they could, and they somehow got Arie on board, which does call into question his character. They film a lot of breakups on the show, so
do you think it's inappropriate that they filmed this breakup, and do you think people are really getting hurt that they're filming? Do you truly believe when you're watching The Batch, this show, like reality shows, like, these people are actually like hurting?
I do. I mean, I've seen enough of the show that I think I have a pretty good sniff test for when something's real and when something's not. What stuck out to me was Becca repeatedly tells him in this breakup, you can leave, please get out. And he doesn't. She also waits to cry until she's in a bathroom off camera. So it's little things like that where you know that she's camera aware, she's aware of what's happening, but she also is still looking to have these private, personal moments. If she really wanted to milk it up for the cameras, if it was all fake, first of all, we're expecting this woman who's like a publicist from, I think, Minnesota or Wisconsin, or I don't know, from somewhere to be this amazing actress. That I don't totally believe.
I mean, she didn't just start acting out of nowhere. She's probably had some time to practice with the producers.
What? You really think that? Yeah. No, I mean, I do think.
Man, there's so much money involved in these things, and like you're like the perfect target to like manipulate
because I'm too innocent.
Yeah, and like, not that, but you also think like you're like, oh, like I have a pretty good sniff test. Like you're like the perfect target for this.
I don't know. I think that there are. You bring up some good points because it is weird. They never filmed the couples meeting up after the show was already aired. So remember, there was the proposal, and then
they had a follow-up last night, though, didn't they?
Well, no, but they never filmed. So they have the proposal, and then usually it's after the final rose in front of a live studio audience. Now, what was different that Becca probably should have somehow caught on to, I don't know how the producers justified this to her, was that they were filming her meeting up with Arie, which was Arie breaking up with her. And in all the interviews, she's like, oh, I just love him. I love hanging out with him. And I love this ring. Like, he did really well. And that, to me, if you've watched the show, would have been very weird. It would have been like, why are you filming us meeting up? That never happens. Shouldn't we just film the after the final rose in front of the audience? Why are we still filming sort of thing? So there should have been a couple red flags that went up for her. There should have been, I mean, but you don't want to. This isn't her. You can't put any of this on her. You can't put any of this on Lauren. Arie, if anyone's being shady in this, it's Arie. And I said that when they announced him as the Bachelor because I watched Emily Maynard's season. People don't pay attention to history anymore. They don't. And if they had a nose for history, like your girl and her sniff test, then they would have known that he's a shady character. I hope that he's happy with Lauren. I really do. But as someone who is recently engaged, it's really hard for me to be like, it's not normal. You breaking off an engagement is insane.
Yeah, man, but like not for people who like get engaged in the first place on TV.
Yeah, after knowing something
like,
for a couple.
Come on.
Right? But
have there been any cases of bachelors
where
or
it's worked out?
Yeah,
there.
Really? I mean, and they're still together.
So for
to this day.
a great example of this that they brought up on the show is that Jason Mesnick called off his engagement to Melissa in favor of his runner-up Molly years ago, before really social media was a thing, and he is now with Molly. They have a kid together. Like they have stayed. So it has worked out before. I think no. There have been other ones. Okay. There's been like Trista and Ryan. The first Bachelorette is still married with kids to the guy that she chose. There was JP and the Bachelor. I can't remember. There have been some that have worked out. The odds are not really in their favor, but look, you root for them. I root for love. Amir hates love, so now it's just over to you in the conversation. We want to hear what you think about this, whether you're in Bachelor Nation or not. It was controversial. Share your thoughts. Stay with us because when we come back, Amir is going to tell us 3 things that he learned, and I'm very curious to learn these.